We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to something very, very different to my usual Star Wars figure reviews. This is actually the first live stream that I've hosted on the channel with multiple guests. I've done live broadcasts and stuff like that before, but never anything like this. So bear with me because I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. Thankfully, I'm joined by two chaps who are going to help me through this. They're going to guide me through gently, and we're going to talk all things Clone Wars. Recently at Hasbro PulseCon, Hasbro did announce that they were going to do a sort of celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Clone Wars. Obviously, I think it was 2003 when the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars series aired on Cartoon Network, and to celebrate that and to celebrate the era of the Clone Wars, essentially, Hasbro are doing a little bit of a celebratory line to commemorate that. So I'm joined by a couple of special guests who are gonna. We've come together over on Instagram recently via a group chat. Just to put together a couple of different picks for what we'd like to see within the Black series in particular. This isn't really going to focus on vintage collection. I know that a lot of you guys are probably going to hate me for that, but the guests that I'm joined by today are predominantly, from what I understand anyway, Black series collectors. But some of the picks that we've made could apply to vintage collection. There's no reason for that, but these are just characters we want to see in the Hasbro line in some way, shape, or form. So we're going to talk about it. We've got some beers. We're ready to go. So I'm going to introduce you to our first guest. This is a chap that myself and our other guest have been talking to for quite some time. He's followed both of our pages for quite some time, and his collection, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to let him introduce himself. I'm going to let him tell you guys a little bit about himself. It is none other than James, also known on Instagram as RoboQuiff Collects. Hello, James.
Far too kind. Hello. Far too kind, my friend. Far too kind. So I am RoboQuiff Collect from Instagram, and I just post all of the main weaknesses in my life, which is buying lots and lots of figures. That's basically
as
it.
the collection showcases from behind it. It speaks for itself, mate. You've got an amazing setup back there. Looks really, really good. So, are you ready to talk some Clone Wars?
I am.
You've made your pick. You're confident in your choices. Don't want to change your mind.
Yeah. No, I'm good on the 5 that we've got. That's it was hard to narrow it down to 5, but here we are.
It is. Clone Wars is a vast vat of characters, isn't it? It's definitely very hard to trim them all down. But we're going to introduce the next guest now. He doesn't need an introduction really, so I'm just going to let him do it for me.
It's Funho! SpongeBob Funho, Daily Smurfism, back again! Hello everyone, it's me.
He's arrived.
I've arrived, I'm here.
How you doing, Dan? You alright?
I'm living it, loving it, surviving, thriving.
Can't ask for much more than that, really, can you, mate?
You can't. I've got some bevies on the go. I'm here to talk about the Clone Wars. What? I've got a new figure today. What more could you want?
We both got a new figure today.
We did. Well, you might not have if.
Well, like I said, there could have been some serious beef on this stream tonight, but thankfully we both got what we wanted, and we can cheers. Chink chink chink
chink chink chink chink chink clink clink.
There we go. Right, Danny, are you ready to chat Clone Wars?
You know it, brother. You know I'm ready to chat about Clone Wars. You know it.
Good. So I probably fluffed it at the beginning when I was trying to explain what it is that we're doing, but essentially, like I said, the three of us have come together recently, haven't we? And we've put together a little bit of a list of figures we'd like to see Hasbro release as part of this 20th anniversary celebration of the Clone Wars. And each of us have picked 5 figures each, or 5 characters each. And we'll chuck some honourable mentions in at the end as well. But I think before we dive into Clone Wars, I think we need to address the elephant in the room. And that's the fact that obviously there was a small convention earlier today where Hasbro revealed some rather interesting little figures. What do we all reckon?
I mean, it was quite good coinkydink that we were then doing this live stream later, but yeah.
They couldn't take the competition, could they?
I think that's why they probably thought, oh, hang on a minute, we've got some competition on the go here. We need to do something that's going to make people tune into that instead. And we did. But
and
thankfully we're all here.
They were in our stomping ground as well, the UK, weren't they? So
they were down in London for MCM, and it's like I said to you guys earlier. Who are these people, and what have they done with Hasbro? Because those reveals were bloody good.
Oh yeah.
So what's so out of everything? What's the best? What's the favourite? What's going to be the must-have? What's the figure that you're clicking pre-order on straight away, James? What about you, mate? What are you going for that lot?
Mara Jade, I think. No real particular reason other than I think it's one that's overdue in the line. And when I was a kid, I remember getting the comic pack where you got X-Wing pilot Luke and you got Mara Jade in a particular issue. So that's one I'm looking forward to adding to the display.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Dan?
Oh, I can't even convey. I was literally on my phone in Frankie and Benny's. I'm like, what's going on here? What's this? What's this? What's up with Hasbro?
You weren't ignoring Mother East to look at figures, were you?
I mean, a little bit, because you have to have a look at your little figures. But then I did put my phone away. But I think same here, Mara Jade. It's weird that they've done Jaina Solo way back when, and Mara Jade would have just been the no-brainer rather than that, and it's taken all this time for them to be like, that's the one we need to do, and we're getting her. She's a ginger, a woman of my own heart, so I'll take that. I'll take that, but Malik as well is another one to go with Ravan, so it's just has to go to Mara Jade.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you two, to be honest. I think for me it's Mara Jade as well. Like you said, James, long overdue figure.
Yep.
Fan favourite as well. I don't think you could have gone wrong by announcing that one. I'm just hoping now that, because what I really like about some of these gaming greats and comic book figures that got revealed today are the fact that they don't seem as reuse heavy as previous figures from the line. So I'm hoping that with this slow introduction of more new parts, that we're going to get more new characters. So it's made me really optimistic for Kyle Katarn and Starkiller and all that sort of stuff. So fingers crossed, this is a sign of things to come. But yeah, Mara Jade definitely, and Malak just looks, oh, what a figure that looks like. So good.
Yeah, I think Malak. I mean, all of them were really surprised in terms of the amount of reuse. Lack of, rather. Just because that's all we've seen recently from Hasbro, so I'm just hoping that that's going to pay off for next year, and particularly in terms of what we're going to be talking about today. A lot of the figures, if they could make them, probably won't, but if they could, you couldn't do them for reuse. Yeah.
No, I agree with that, definitely. I don't know though. I think there's a couple, because we have tried to keep it quite sort of, what's the word? Realistic, haven't we? I think there are a couple of choices on each of our lists that are quite out there and are quite ambitious, but then at the same time we've chucked a couple in there that are easy to do, and I think they've got the parts to tinker with.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think we're being generous, Hasbro. We're not expecting too much from you, but we know you're capable. So
you got
this. Hold that finger up, Patrick.
That's it. Let's hope they do. We've got a couple of guys in the chat. Harley Vader's here, and Norse King Jedi. Daddy's home.
Here he is. Big
He's here. So yeah, I think we've got a reasonable audience for the time being. Hopefully more people jump in and start to interact with us as we go through. But I think it's time to dive into his first few picks, isn't it?
Oh
yeah.
Dan's vibrating.
Sorry. It's the old blower.
He's getting very excited. He's vibrating. Just thinking about these choices.
It's all.
So what we'll do, we'll go round clockwise, and we'll do a pick each until we've eliminated each of our 5 picks, and then, like I said, we'll dive into a tangent and talk about all our honourable mentions and figures that we hope they'll make at some point towards the end. So, James, if you want to fire off with your first pick.
Okay, no particular order. My first pick was Anakin Skywalker from the Tartakovsky Clone Wars series in the Nelavan Tattoos outfit, or Luke, shall we say. I think that's a cracking figure from the 30th anniversary collection, and I've got fond memories of picking that one up as a kid. Very hard for me to find originally, so that's one I'd like to see updated in the Black Series.
That's a quality pick.
Can't disagree with that, to be fair. I think that if you'd not picked that one, to be fair, James, I think that would have been right at the top of my list as well, because like you, I've got really fond memories of picking up that 30th anniversary collection figure, to the point where I still think it's that good. It's right towards the front of one of my displays. So yeah, can't disagree with that one at all. That's an absolutely quality pick. And just for context, guys, there he is. Look, oof.
There we go.
Oh,
ready for the Techno Union.
That little nipple.
Yes. That is an absolutely quality figure, to be fair.
Yeah.
Really good.
That'd be an easy one for Hasbro to do in Black Series as well. Or, I mean, even as a vintage collection, if they were doing vintage collection.
This is it. I think that it would be a really easy figure to do, because they've got a couple of topless male sculpts already.
Yeah.
So you could easily do take a reuse from the Luke Skywalker. Is it A New Hope Luke Skywalker where he's got the soft goods? Because I'm pretty sure he's topless under there. So you could use that, or if you wanted to go a little bit buffer, you could use Maul's torso from the comic book line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of different options there.
It'd be nice to actually get a cybernetic hand as well, considering they missed that out on the Attack of the Clones release compared to all the 3-inch counterparts over the years. I think that's missing in a particular variation, just to spice the shelf up a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think they could do something similar to what they did with the 30th anniversary collection as well, where they included the full hand, but then also like the interchangeable part where the hand was blown up from when he sticks his hand in that energy, whatever it is. I can't remember. But yeah, when his just hand blows off, and that blood curdling scream that he lets out.
They could go one step further and include a soft goods cloak as well, with the sort of tribal hieroglyphs on from the very end of the chapter.
Oh.
If they were being generous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bit of a pipe dream, that one, but
that would be quality. That would be really, really good.
Great.
How do we feel about realistic interpretations of characters being brought into Black Series? Like, is there a preference that you guys have got about whether or not animated characters should look animated in the Black Series, or are you happy for them to be consistent with the rest of the line and be sort of realistically styled, or would you like to go for an animated style like the figures that were released back in 2003? What are your thoughts on that?
I like that they fit in with what we've already got, considering it's been so many years since the Black Series started that we're getting these characters implemented in now. But I'd be lying if there wasn't a little part of me that I'd just love to see a 6-inch line that were fully animated, completely respectful to the original source material. Kind of similar to what Sideshow Collectibles have been doing recently.
I was just about to bring that up,
Yeah.
I actually saw the Obi-Wan Kenobi today in Forbidden Planet, and I had to walk away from that one. But, again, it's all childhood dreams.
Yeah.
We grow up, we want better versions of what we had when we were kids, and that's I'll take both. Give me a realistic, give me an animated. I'll buy them. I don't care.
I'd be down for that. Yeah, I think in terms of realism, just continuing on with it. But if they did like a separate subline where it's like, oh, here's to celebrate the anniversary and whatnot, then it would be cool to see that as well, where it's in the similar sort of like packaging that we had way back when with the characters in that. But Nah, I'm easy, but if they can keep it realistic and continue on, it's always cool to see when they do that. Particularly, I mean, when they did Zeb, that was the one where it was like, oh, this actually does kind of work.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah, because it blurs that line, doesn't it, between
Yeah.
realistic and animated. It looks like the animated character, but it's styled in a way that makes him look realistic.
Yeah.
What
that's
about
it.
packaging? If we're talking about packaging for each of these choices that we've made, if they were to release this we'll talk about this figure specifically first, and then we'll touch base on packaging throughout the rest of the choices that we've made. But with this one, how are you feeling? Do you want it in a standard box? Do you want it in a sort of throwback to 30th anniversary collection? What's your...
I was going to say a throwback to the 30th anniversary collection would be nice, because I don't think there is an animated version from the Tartakovsky series that exists, but I think it was part of a box set originally.
Yeah.
So, 6-inch 30th anniversary card with the coin as well. Maybe a stand, if not.
Yeah.
That would make me gush.
Yeah.
That would actually make me gush. Because 30th anniversary was where I got into collecting.
Yeah.
So it got me into it. So yeah.
That's where my completist mentality sort of picked up, and that was it. I had to pick every figure up from every line that was released, and that's yeah. I'd say that I'd say the same thing, to be fair, Dan. That like 30th anniversary collection is, I'll not say the driving force behind my collection, but it's definitely when I was like, okay, I'm all in now. You know, I picked up bits and pieces from before, but just went balls to the wall with that line.
It's just when that line, it's where things picked up, wasn't it? They were like incorporating just a mixture of movies, comics, animated, just weird stuff as well. And it's what I love about Star Wars figure collecting, and this is one of those for sure.
Definitely. So that brings us to you, Daniel. What is your...
Right, because you said, oh, Dan's going to go for Pong Krell.
I honestly thought you were going to.
Pong Krell isn't on this list, chaps. Sorry to disappoint and a slight spoiler, but I went for Trench. Admiral Trench, just because he's a big spider boy, he's got lots of arms, and it'd just be cool to see a big chonky figure. I like my chonkers. I like my big chonky figures. And if they could include, like, I don't know if they could do it, like interchangeable parts where you could have him where he's pre-cybernetic and then cybernetic, because he gets, like, robot arms and that weird head as well with, like, one of his tendrils. Oh, love it. I'd love a Trench, rather, not Krell. I would.
Oh, see, Krell.
Krell was close. Krell was close, but I had to put Trench in there. Dyspraxic flare up, sorry, chaps. But yeah, Trench.
Yeah.
My boy. Yeah.
I think it easily passes a deluxe as well, like you said, if they chucked all them additional accessories in there.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the things with that character that I often forget about, is the fact that he had two sort of looks, two outfits, two costumes sort of thing. He looked quite different between his two appearances. Yeah,
he just slowly evolved, and that's what I really like, because it's like a bit of a tiny little contrast to like Vader as well, Anakin to Vader, and it's just a big spider, and that's what's not cool about that. Who doesn't want just a big spider boy? I hate spiders, so he shouldn't really be in my list, but I'm like, but he's too cool. He's too cool.
Yeah. It's just that as well, isn't it? Trying to get more aliens into the line as well, and that's like one of the more obscure ones, I think.
Yeah. And then I can enact my weird little fantasies with him and Thrawn, because Thrawn definitely studied him.
Your
overshare.
Your headcanon's kicking off, in it.
My headcanon is just, we don't want to go there.
It would be a worthy deluxe figure as well if they packaged it that way. Quite hefty, lots of plastic for your money.
Yeah.
I think they could do. I think probably looking at him, they'd probably do him in a very similar way that they did Moloch from Solo, in the sense that he's like a solid body, because he's got, like, pardon the pun, a trench coat, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So you could do him as just a solid piece of plastic wrapped up in the coat or the robe or whatever it is, and then just stick the arms on and make the arms articulated and stuff like that. I don't think, because you don't really get a good look at his legs anyway. So
the only difference being is that it wouldn't shelf warm every Target shelf in America.
Yeah,
there's that.
Although it'd probably warm every Smiths in England, because I think every Black Series figure is a peg warmer at the minute. There's nothing's off limits in terms of Smiths. Everything's a peg warmer because nothing's shifting. Even at discount. Even at discount. That's it. Cost of living crisis. No one can afford figures.
If anybody wants a Reva, they're £15 now.
I wish I'd...
fucking bargain, to be fair.
I'm so annoyed that I jumped on that figure. I should have just waited for it.
I'm still waiting for the Purge Trooper, to be honest, to drop, because I'm waiting on that one, because that's the boy, that's the one I want. But £30 is just, it's a bit much. But yeah, there's some bargains to be had. Yeah, anyway, enough with the free advertising for Smiths. Let's jump into my first pick. So mine. Let me just have a look. So I'm just going to flick through my tabs and see which one I want to look at first. So we'll go with the Tartakovsky choice, and since we're talking about Trench, we'll talk about more additions to the deluxe line. So my first pick, not in necessarily any specific order, but my first choice is this lad. Get Yoda on his Kai book. And I think there's a thing for it as well now, that especially we've seen since we've seen a Kai book pop up in Andor. There's that relevance there to get it into the line. No, it wasn't Andor.
Don't you mean Tales of the Jedi?
I mean Tales of the Jedi. I've had one too many Brewgood and New England IPAs, but yeah, I did mean Tales of the Jedi.
It's alright, mate. I've got mixed up between two four-armed characters, you know.
Friggin' hell. But yeah,
knocked a load of figures over it.
we're all guilty of that, mate. Don't worry about that. But yeah, Yoda on a Kai book, deluxe release. You know, I think with this one, you'd probably get away with doing it in a similar sort of size box to the one we had for Luke and Yoda, the Dagobah training one, because the Kai books are pretty small. I feel like when they released this one back in the 30th anniversary collection, they made it a little bit too big. Whereas, as you can see from that picture, Yoda's not all that large on his back. So I think you could scale the Kai book down a little bit and stick him in a box similar to that Dagobah Luke and Yoda set, and boom, there you go, 20, 25, 30 quid. That's your deluxe release. I think that's doable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think realistically styled and all that sort of stuff. I think that'd look pretty good. I'm not leaning towards this particular appearance though. I want Yoda with his little hood and the brown robe and all that sort of stuff.
With the bandolier as well, so you can put his lightsaber.
Essentially just a 30th anniversary collection figure recreation.
Yeah.
You know, just give me everything from that 30th anniversary collection line in 6-inch. Just give it me all in 6-inch. I'm here for it. Christ, I'm taking Naboo Soldier in 6-inch at this point. Do you know what I mean? Just that line was just peak Star Wars collecting for me. I'm up for it.
I'd be on that.
Luke Warren's just dropped in the chat. He says, for the micro series, I would say a real Captain Photo, not the Echo repaint they've just released. And for Clone Wars, I'd say seasons 1 to 2 Ahsoka and ARC Trooper 5s. Well, stay tuned, Luke, because one of your shouts might become a reality, my friend. But yeah, definitely Captain Photo. Why didn't they do that in the first place?
Nope.
What baffles me about that is that it would have been so much easier to just repaint a normal clone body. Like, repaint Bly, stick that Phase 1 head on it.
Done.
Yeah, they had Captain Rex as well. Before we got pictures, I thought they'd repaint Rex and just slap a different helmet on it and give him different holsters and blasters, but,
There's so many different clones that are so much closer in terms of appearance to Frodo than the one that they decided to repaint, and I want that figure and I want that line of figures because that packaging is really nostalgic for me, but that the inaccuracies are too far.
Woeful.
The too many. There's too many. Diami says, I really want to see a Commander Bakara Black Series release. He's one of my favourite clones. I think that ties into Clone Wars era. Yeah, I think Bakara's definitely... I expect to see that one as a pipeline sooner than later now that we're getting Ki-Adi-Mundi in the Black Series.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Go with it nicely. And a Galactic Marine. Why not?
Oh.
Yeah. Although knowing Hasbro, they'd just repaint an Imperial Snowtrooper.
Yep. 31 quid. That'd be exclusive. There you go.
Absolutely. Definitely. So James, what is your second pick?
I'll stay on the Tartakovsky train whilst we're at it, with Jedi Master Roron Corobb, or however you pronounce his name. I've never actually heard it pronounced on anything, so don't want the internet fanboys coming for me. Again, at the sake of sounding like a broken record, another cracking figure that I used to play with a lot as a kid. I remember finding this one on a particular Boxing Day sale in Woolworths. And I was like, I know that guy. He's from the Clone Wars. He's coming home with me. So, and then for the original trilogy fans, if they put this in the Black Series, you could get a pretty decent hammerhead out of it for your cantina.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was thinking before. I was thinking Roron Corobb. To be fair, I was like, as soon as he popped up on screen, I was like, oh yeah, that would make a sick moment, Aiden. But no, I think, like you said, fond memories of that 30th anniversary collection line again. I think that we're starting to see a pattern emerging with that, aren't we?
Yeah, a little bit biased towards the good old days.
Yeah, definitely. But no, a really cool Jedi figure to include. Absolutely. I think Ithorians will translate really, really well into the Black Series as well.
Yeah. That's where they'd sort of meet that line between animated and live action, with all that detail and around his mouth especially. Very nice.
Yeah, because if I remember rightly, like the 30th anniversary collection figure that came out, they gave it a slightly different head sculpt to all the Hammerhead figures that had been done before, and to the point where like his mouth was slightly open on each side, and you'd got sort of that weird gunk effect from the mouth opening sculpted into his head. So
that's the one.
I think increasing the scale of that just allows so much more detail, and that would look amazing in Black Series form. My only worry with Hammerhead figures in the Black Series is the fact that they'd stick it in a deluxe box just to justify having him facing forward rather than just doing the logical thing and turning his head to the side. But
they could do that. They could turn his head to the side now. They don't care about plastic in their packaging and their plastic
this is
toys.
it. I mean, without the plastic, like, this is one of the things I'm forgetting is the fact that, because I was just about to ask you, what would you prefer in terms of packaging? Do you want it in just a standard Black Series box, or again another throwback to the 30th anniversary collection? But if it's just in a standard Black Series box, you ain't going to see the figure before you buy it anyway.
Yeah. So. I think in the 30th anniversary box, it was sort of turned to the side anyway. So if they did that and they counted it as part of the heritage packaging, so we'd have the plastic window, then that'd be all right. But I'd take whatever they want to throw at us. If Hasbro look at something and go, oh, we'll make that guy, then as long as he's on the shelf, I ain't bothered where he comes to, man.
I feel like they kind of copped out with this one as well when they released it in 3 3/4 inch scale, because didn't they give it the Macquarie Concept Stormtrooper lightsaber?
Yeah.
Didn't they? Yeah. I could never remember whether it was this one or whether it was Foul Mudama who they gave that lightsaber to, and then I've just remembered it was this one, because I remember thinking when I picked this figure up, well, why didn't they just give this lightsaber to Foul Mudama, because he had much wider hands and he'd have been able to grip it a lot better, so it would have made so much more sense to do that. But
bit of blue tack was your friend with that one.
Absolutely, or a clear elastic band. Hasbro gonna Hasbro there.
Oh,
that's the one.
So, Dan, what is your second pick, my friend?
Well, as we're keeping it in Tartakovsky, and this is the only, maybe one more that could technically class Tartakovsky, but this is technically the only one that was like, yeah. Sassy Tinn.
Oof.
just because I get to say Sassy and Tinn in the same sentence. And it has to be in his look from Tartakovsky Clone Wars, where he's got that helmet on. Just looks very Mandalorian-ish. And
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. So yeah, that's why I've chosen it. I think it would translate well as an update in terms of 3/4 inch and 6-inch Black Series. So that's why I've included it. Just because it's just such a weird and wonderful design. And I think going off the back of James's pick, I think it's we need more Jedi. Just Black Series is just really lacking Jedi. And world building. You can do it. Just give me more characters that fit into that. Not just humans. Give me some weird aliens. And that fits the bill for it. So that's why Sassy Tinn is in this sassy list.
Sassy indeed. He's very, very sassy, isn't he? Look at his horns, man.
I love him.
That is, I love this figure so much. Well, this character so much because it just takes that idea of Jedi wearing clone armor during the Clone Wars to a whole nother level.
Yep.
Doesn't it?
It's ramped up, like really military ramped up, and shows how distant they are from what the Order actually should be. And I just love the look of it.
Yeah.
That in Black Series would just be mint.
What are we saying? Soft goods or plastic for the robes?
Oh, I think a mixture. I think the cape definitely soft goods. Unless they did like the front body bit like how they did Vader. I don't know, but I think soft goods just for the cape, and then everything else maybe a bit plastic.
I think they missed the cape off the 3-inch version originally, didn't they?
They did. They did, and that is something that I didn't twig until you just mentioned it. I never actually noticed that.
It's like the Anakin and Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter conundrum, Steve, where the little R2's in the cockpit rather than the side.
Oh God, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Little brain teaser for both of us, that wasn't it? Bloody hell.
Just for anyone who doesn't know, in Attack of the Clones, droid sits there, and then in Clone Wars he moved it there because reasons.
What does it actually say on the box for that one? Is it labelled as Attack of the Clones or is it Clone Wars?
It's not really labelled as anything. It just says Jedi Starfighter. You take it or you leave it, bish.
Bugger me then.
Ow.
Really good shout from Ruler of Randomness while I'm just flicking through the comments. Is it asking too much for them to recreate the Order 66 2-packs in both figure scales for this? I'd be there for that. Man, I'd be there for that.
Were those the ones that came in the tubes?
Yes.
Fuck, yes! Excuse my language, but yes!
It's alright, you can swear.
Yes! Yes!
Under one condition. They do sort of episode 3 era Anakin and give him soft goods tunic like they did in the original pack.
Yeah.
Because that's a figure I've wanted for a bloody long time and never managed to get. But there was just something about that. The fact that they just created that entire upper torso piece out of soft goods was just mad. Like you'd never get that nowadays.
I think we got shafted on them in the UK, to be fair. I can only ever remember finding the Obi-Wan set and the Vader set with, was it like Commander Appa or a 501st Commander?
Yeah.
I remember
seeing some of them in Forbidden Planet. I can't remember whether it was because they did 2 waves, didn't they? Because the second wave came with a load of ARC troopers, and we were like, well, why are they Order 66 packs when they're all with Phase 1 ARC troopers? But that first wave, I remember that because didn't the Vader pack and a few of the others popped up in Tesco, if I remember right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh man, 30th anniversary collection is getting brought up a hell of a lot tonight, isn't it? I wonder if we like that line.
It's just perfection.
It really is.
Just
it really
perfection.
is. So my second pick.
Oh.
Let's have a look because I don't really know. I'm just trying to have a. Let's have a look. So we went with Yoda on the Kai book first. Let's have a gander. Okay, so since we'll keep it Tartakovsky then. My next pick is sort of in keeping with the pipeline reveals we've just had at MCM, to be honest, because they've just announced for the Clone Wars celebration, quite in fitting with this live stream, to be honest. Is it the Magna Guard, the Phase 2 Clone Trooper, and what was the other one?
Ahsoka.
That's the one. Yeah, Ahsoka. So I feel like they've especially from the stills they've used as well. They've used Revenge of the Sith stills for those pipeline reveals. So I'm kind of thinking that even though this is a choice from the Tartakovsky series, and obviously if it's brought to life in Black series, it's not going to be sculpted in that animated style. But it also ties in with the way that Hasbro seemed to be doing the Clone Wars Celebration line. So you could do it as an Episode 3 figure, you could do it as a Clone Wars figure. I don't mind. Just give me her. I want Shakti.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Dan clearly does, you kinky boy.
Oh, give me her in that Force Unleashed look. Oh, you know what I'm talking about, boys.
Where's my horny stick? I can't find my horny stick.
The horny stick?
I need to bash you with the horny stick and send you back to horny jail.
Well, I've got Darth Maul here, and he's a horny boy like me.
Great segue.
But yeah, Shakti, another, like I think you said at the beginning with Mara Jade, long overdue figure, really popular Jedi from Episode 3, and obviously the Tartakovsky series. And there's another little chap in the background who I think deserves a release.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I didn't even think about this boy.
I know, right?
He's Shagai.
Where's he at?
Oh, need him. Need him, yeah. And if they did it like, what's the actor's name? Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Got his likeness. That would be mint. I'd actually love that.
I would.
Oh, I didn't even think. God.
Just a lineup of that entire sort of group of Jedi that just get absolutely battered.
You could pose him under Grievous's foot as well. It'd be wicked.
Yeah. I'd love that. I'd love that so much. But yeah, Shakti. And then if you wanted to, you could appease sort of fans of both eras. You could appease Dan, and you could appease everybody who wanted Clone Wars stuff. You could do it with a removable robe, so she's got that sexy fucking bikini on underneath from Force Unleashed. Boom! There you go.
You tease.
You can think about Roron and Trench while undressing Shakti at the same time. There you go. You're sorted.
Coming soon to a YouTube channel near you, folks.
Content coming up.
Sponsored by Fan Home.
Sponsored by Fan Home.
Only fans home.
Only fans home.
But yeah, I think we've gone on a bit of a
Only
tangent here. But yeah, Shakti, man, bring it. Let's have it.
Can I quickly ask which death do you consider to be the one that happened out of like the 4 that exist?
None. Oh shit! Yeah, there was 4, wasn't there? Bloody hell! See, when you say Shakti's death, I literally only think of the prequels. Did she die in Force Unleashed?
Yeah.
I think that's the assumption. Yeah, she sort of just falls into the Sarlacc, and then there's that big blue beam of light that they tended to use when you defeated the Jedi.
Is that in a very game specific? Is that in a console specific game, or is that just across the board? Because I remember playing. I think I had Force Unleashed for the PS2, and I know that certain levels were different if you played it on like the Wii or the Xbox or stuff like that, weren't they?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think the Wii and the PS2 differed to the other consoles, and then the DS was something else entirely.
Yeah.
In
that case, I don't really know then, because I'd say Force Unleashed. If she dies in Force Unleashed, I'd say the Force Unleashed death is what I would consider to be the canon one, just because the death scenes from Episode 3 got cut, and then obviously she went on to appear in the Force Unleashed, so it only makes sense. But
yeah,
Episode 3 is canon, Force Unleashed isn't. So I don't know, because she gets a couple of deaths, doesn't she, in Episode 3? Anakin kills her, and I think Grievous kills her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Force Unleashed death for me until they completely retcon that game.
Oh no! Well, if they retcon the Force Unleashed, I'd like it to bring the Force Unleashed back into continuity in a new way. I think in 2008 that was beyond its time in the realm of
100%.
storytelling, and
Yeah,
the fact that we haven't seen anything of Starkiller since is criminal.
Well, that's controversial due to the recent-ish Andor episode, but that's a whole other thing, isn't it?
it doesn't make him canon.
It doesn't.
It's a nod. It's a nod.
It's a nod to his armour, which could have been from another ancestral thing that he just took it from and modified. Yeah, I don't worry about it. What I watched at the time, just enjoy it.
There's a well of characters that you could just select just from Force Unleashed, isn't there? That's another stream for another day, I think. But bloody hell,
Maris Brood, the little dude with the robot arms. What's he called? Oh, Castapratus. Yeah, that's
yes.
The little crazy dude who creates his own little junk Jedi temple.
Yeah.
Love
That's one of the
that.
things. Did either of you guys pick up on that in the recent Andor episode? When they were talking about Raxus.
Yeah.
And they talked about the Empire basically going in there and just like pillaging it and just making it industrializing the place. And I was like, oh shit, we're getting Force Unleashed nods, like on a bigger scale, on a canon scale. It's happening. I literally felt like Michael Scott in The Office, like running around like, it's happening, it's happening. Oh my god. Yeah. Let's just. Oh man, yeah. Force Unleashed is, like I said, another stream for another time. But I love this comment from JK. Sassy, Tinn, and Shaggy, a night on the town.
That's my headcanon. That's my headcanon right there.
JK wants to know, what are we drinking, gents? Let's jump around the table. What are we having?
Robinson's fruit juice. That's it.
Hey, don't knock it.
He's on the hard stuff.
I'm not a big drinker. I'm a lightweight.
Hey, that's
So,
fairs. That's fairs.
James is on the hard stuff. What are we on, Dan?
Spend too much money on figures, so I can't afford to.
You can't do both.
You can't do both. You can't do both.
Bite your tongue, Dan. What we're drinking?
Swiftly on, we're drinking Japon Indian Ale Fullbridge. Refreshing.
Beautiful. I'm currently on a Brew Gooder, New England IPA, but I'm getting towards the bottom of that now, so it'll be soon time to move on to a Brew Gooder Session IPA. And this is turning into a bit of a session, so let's move on with the picks. James, what is your third pick, my friend?
Oh, right. Okay, so we're leaving Gendy Tartakovsky in the wind, and we're going over to a bit of good old Dave Filoni. Vizsla from the Clone Wars Season 4 or Season 5.
That's a shout. I think that's another one that is well overdue.
Missing from the original 2008 line in favour of his first appearance. I think we've got plenty of figures that could go with that nicely in the 6-inch line now. They did those 2 exclusive Mandalorians in the Clone Wars line from a few years ago, the Walmart exclusive ones. And we've just seen the release of Maul. So you're better to accompany him on the shelf.
I was going to say because they're really going to town with the Clone Wars releases lately, aren't they? So I think that's a shoe in. I honestly can't believe it's not been revealed as a pipeline yet. To be honest.
Yeah, it's at the height of relevance as well. Really, you've got everything going on in the Mandalorian in regards to the Darksaber, and
absolutely,
we've already seen Sabine in the Black Series. So let's have Vizsla, and finish that collection of, well, add to the collection of characters that wielded the Darksaber.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Paz as well. Big Paz would be cool. Just have him stood next to him. Like, hello, Descendee. How are you doing there?
And then no doubt we'll get that con exclusive later with the Jon Favreau head.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming. So when it comes to this particular figure, then how are we releasing it? Are we going like balls to the wall and just chucking it in a deluxe box and giving it like alternate helmets, removable helmets, alternate jetpacks, all that sort of stuff, or do you just want it basic in this box as it comes?
I'll be honest with you, I hadn't considered it until you've just put the question to me. But we'll roll with it. I think if Hasbro did a proper job, we could have it on a single card with a removable helmet. Darksaber. I'm not sure if he's actually got his blasters on that particular armor, because I remember them frequenting the wrist gauntlets during those stories. But I suppose you could go either way with it. You could do a deluxe release, jetpack effects, flamethrower, those little like saw blades that he shoots out. Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
I'll let Dan just like contribute his 2 pence to that one, because I've just frothed.
That's all right, mate.
I've frothed everywhere.
You
bear with me 1 second.
Grief. Man, I will man the fort. Well, pre-Vizsla, I need him. I need him in my collection. I think, like you said, if they gave him like the wrist things, like the little throwing saws and the flame effects. Why can't we have flame effects these days? I love little additional accessories that just build to display posability. So world building. That's what we need. So, I mean, this one's again. This was a very close contender of a choice in my own list. But yeah, this is another one that we need. What's your what is your? I had a question there and it's gone. I can't do the thing. Would you want it looking more realistic than like animated, or would you want both? Going back to that question that Steve raised earlier.
I don't know, really. In between would be good. In between would be good, just so it could go with all of the other figures that we've got through the Mandalore sort of story, shall we say. I went with this one over the first one as well, because I think the head would be more interesting if we got an unhelmeted sculpt. He's got that really cool scar, the parting gift from Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Better than his little Johnny Bravo impersonation.
Yeah, we need him. We need him in the line.
It's a solid shout, isn't it? I think it's like one of the. I think when you talk about Black Series and figures that haven't been made, like across any era, this is like one of the ones that stands at the top of the list, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I think we could go with a new sculpt as well for this one if they were to do it, because they're really Django for the other two Mandalorians, and they're just far too thick in my opinion, too bulky. The articulation piss poor on them. They look nice, but a Mandalorian should be doing a bit more than just standing upright, I think.
100%. I actually had issues with my Mandos earlier, and they kept falling over because I were adding a certain someone to the display, and they just weren't having it. So it's the legs on them; they're a bit thick, a bit chonky.
I think if while you're down that road as well, I think Django could do with a severe sculpt update as well.
Oh yeah,
completely.
More accessories, please.
Just,
poncho and flight gear for his unhelmeted head.
Definitely.
Saw blades as well, like little doodads that pop out of his wrists. Just
yeah.
beyond
See,
that.
that's another figure that warrants a deluxe release, isn't it?
Completely.
I think with Mandos you could just go all out with them, and I don't think anybody would be too mad if each and every single one was a deluxe release, because you can literally include a multitude of different accessories with every single one, rather than just releasing a different version of it on a single or basic box card every time. Just do one that's the ultimate. I'm thinking back to like the Django, the 12-inch Django Fett's that came out back in 2002. You know, that just came with like a jumpsuit, and then you put on all the armor yourself, and it came with all the different helmets and all that sort of stuff. Something like that in Black Series would just slap.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I'd want that.
I mean, could we see a Django? I mean, technically, Attack of the Clones starts the Clone War, so it's there.
It's not a bad shout.
I think Django. If they did a Django and Boba 2 pack, I'd be all over that.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
a Django update's needed, because that original sculpt's tosh. it's tosh.
Would
you
you be
use the Omega body for the young Boba?
See, James, we're on the same wavelength. Yeah. We're on the same wavelength, mate. Because I was literally just about to ask the same thing. I don't think I'd mind.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Yeah,
I think I'd mind. I think I'm of that mind now, where I'm sort of. I think I've said it in reviews I've done recently, where figures that I've reviewed have used a lot of reused parts. I'd rather Hasbro reuse the right parts, not just do a complete recycle of different parts and make a crap figure out of it, but reuse the right parts and bring us the character to the line rather than not bringing it at all. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
A bit of clever reuse, like they used to do in the 3-inch line.
Yeah,
I remember. I think I was. It's the 6-inch show that Fly Guy does with Matt from the Black Series Instagram page, and in one of the Q&As they did with Hasbro, they came out with a stupid answer about how they couldn't kit bash certain parts onto certain figures, and then they've gone on to completely disprove that by putting heads on different bodies and bringing such a thing out. But they think bullshit baffles brains, really, with that one. But yeah, clever reuse. There's so many different figures that you could just pop apart and put together, and you just need a fresh coat of paint and you're away. But
well, that brings us quite nicely into my pick, I would say.
What we got, Dan? What we sharing?
Sorry, just to slide in there. Number 3, I've put as Gregor. This is the only clone I've put on my list, because I know it's Clone Wars, and obviously you'd want to have loads. You could do a full list just on clones that you could do. And I need to just put at least one, just a little one, on my list. Because look at my boy. Look at him there. I mean, I've probably picked this one more because of Rebels. And his little voice. But yeah, this is one, just take the Republic Commando body, paint it up nice, pucker. Absolutely pucker. I'd love that. You know, all the markings, I just think it just would look like an absolutely dope figure on the shelf. And if they could include Amoeba Gaskin as well, could I be cheeky to ask for that? A little Amoeba Gaskin?
Maybe. They did Babu Frick. It's, no excuses for that one, Hasbro.
That's it.
It's a possibility, isn't it? It's like you said, though, like when we started the stream, I think we've been a little bit ambitious with some of our picks, but at the same time we've also been realistic. And I think this is a no-brainer for Hasbro. They love repainting figures.
Yep.
And this is an easy one because they've
so
got it.
Easy.
They could all they have to do is repaint it, and it's such an easy one to do.
Yeah.
My only concern is if they do this one, they won't weather him.
Yeah, he needs to look dirty, doesn't he?
Yeah, I was just about to say I think the other Republic Commandos sort of they don't get away with it because they do still look a little bit too clean that's one of my issues with like Fixer and Sev.
I think with
I don't know why it doesn't bother me about Boss, which is weird.
Yeah, with Gregor, I think it makes sense because he's a deserter. He's been out and about, and he's kind of armor's just been left to just get grubbied up, get oil stains on it. It makes sense for him to be weathered. Whereas a Republic Commando, it's like, oh, you want them to maybe look a little bit parade ready. It would be cool to have them weathered, but it's kind of like, okay, that's fine. Gregor, he's got to look like a dirty boy. He's got to look like he's been separated from the pack. Completely different. I think that's why we can allow it. If it's well, it would need to be weathered, not allow it. Hasbro.
He's got that sort of checkered digital camo on certain parts of his armor as well, and I wouldn't really want them to cheap out on that. It's very unique for a clone in general, let alone a clone commando. So
yeah, like you can see it on his backpack, can't you? Yeah. I just look at it, it's like we need it. And in an ideal world, what I would have loved to have seen is if they could do removable armor plating, so you could have it as Gregor from Clone Wars, then Rebels as well. Maybe, I don't know. Like you could have switch outlet. Don't know if it would work. I know it's a pipe dream. But...
I think they could. I think they probably could do it. I mean, in terms of what they could do, nothing's off limits. Yeah. What they could do is a completely different conversation as regards to what they would be willing to do. Yeah. What they could do, they've got the technology and they've got the ability to do it. I think something like you've just mentioned is something that they could easily do. And like I said, stick it in a bigger box, charge a little bit more for it, and if you do it right, people are going to pay it.
Yeah.
Just don't repaint the guy and then stick it in a box and expect people to pay 38 quid for it. That's my only argument.
Boom. Which is what they would probably do. They would do that with him.
Because, this is the thing that really winds me up, like, especially since we're talking about Republic Commandos. Like Boss, when he was released, he was an exclusive, but he was the high end of what a Black Series figure would have cost at that point, which was around the 25, 26 quid mark. Now... 25 quid is sort of the standard for Black Series, and the exclusives are costing about 28 to 34. And when Boss was released, I grabbed him and I was like, yep, I need this figure. I want this figure. I can't wait to complete Delta Squad. And then when Fixer and Sev got released, and now they're available on like Zavi or wherever for $33.99, I'm like, do you know what? I don't really need to complete Delta Squad. So it's like, just do it. It's a repainted figure, for Christ's sake. It's not a brand new sculpt. It doesn't justify a higher price.
No, it doesn't.
There ain't no way that Hasbro have a meeting about this and hear that Greg has been mentioned on the grapevine and some idiot throws out the idea of doing the chef version of him because it's cheaper.
Don't. Because it's a frightening possibility.
That's the thing. It's like Hasbro are listening to us. Like they take, that's a good idea. We'll put a note of that. That's a really awful idea. They mentioned that we shouldn't do it, but we'll put it in there anyway because someone said they might. It's just Hasbro's a little Patrick and his little magic marketing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, guys. I'm too busy with the Indiana Jones line because I actually care about this as part of my childhood. You keep going ahead with Star Wars.
Who's Fixer?
Who's Fixer?
Kitster, not Fixer. I don't even know what I'm saying.
I'll watch it on Disney Plus later.
Keep him over there with the indie stuff.
Keep him over with the indie stuff. Keep him there. He's doing all right on that. Just needs to stay the fuck away. Well, then again, today he's done all right.
Yeah, today he can
He's
stay.
done as Patrick. We've had differences. You haven't challenged me and Miss Dale to a race yet, but one day we'll have a tinny or two and we'll have that race and we'll see who can get the rank core built quicker.
Let's raise a brief a brief glass to Patrick in his
Patrick.
brief moment of passion. I think what did you say earlier, James? He's took a breather from the drugs that he usually does. And he's actually giving a shit about the line for a change.
He's
God
run
bless
out
you,
of
Patrick.
the hard drugs he's been taking for the last 5 years, and common sense has prevailed.
Bloody fire. Well, that brings us to my third pick. And how do I introduce this guy?
This is going to be good.
I don't think there's any... I can't say words, so I'm just going to let him engulf the screen.
Oh, yeah. Yes, because this would trigger all the Star Wars fans. All those little basement dwellers. Yes.
I knew you'd like this one, Dan.
Oh, Jabba. Yes.
Ziro the Hutt. Come on. Give it to us.
The Hutt. The ultimate Hutt.
The Hutt. I mean, interpretations of the character aside, everyone was calling for this during the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
When the Clone Wars came out, everyone was like, "Wow, we need a Ziro the Hutt." I think they were being quite, what's the word? Blind to how the character, to what the character actually was at the time.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, oh, I get it.
I love it.
And it's like,
they're just fabulous, aren't they?
oh, I want it. Glow in the dark pit, because apparently, from what I've heard, the Halloween clone trooper glows in the dark to a degree.
The ones that have been painted well, from what I understand, they do.
But let's have a glow in the dark Ziro.
Oh,
That'd be so good. And like we said before we came on air, all you've got to do is sculpt a new upper torso. You could do it in a realistic style. Just sculpt the head and the arms. In fact, reuse Jabba's arms. I don't give a shit. Jabba's arms, new head, bang it on Jabba's body, boom. Stick it in a box.
Yep.
You don't need to include a throne or anything like that. Let's have it.
If you're gonna, may I add one little thing that they could add? Just a tiny little thing.
Go on.
Could you include, just to get the old prequel boys going off, could you do a service droid, like an astromech service droid with a drinks tray in the colour scheme with it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and then you've got your R2 for Return of the Jedi, and the original trilogy boys can get off to that, and then we can have our little cake and have a big old party with it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm here for that. I think that's one of the things, isn't it? Because that's like, you can easily include one of those astromechs, especially if they're going to go and completely sort of re-sculpt R2. I think this would be a prime opportunity to stick, because I'd even forgive them for putting the old sculpt in.
That's it.
Even if this comes out, say after the new R2D2 gets released, if they release this and then stuck in the old sculpt astromech with the updated paint scheme for Ziro, I'd forgive them. Because
astromechs are just going to sit on your shelf. They're just world building again.
You love that, don't you? World building.
I love my world building. Because you can do it for Black Series. And it's stuff like that you just have on your shelf and it's there. It's there.
I don't actually mind the old astromech sculpt since you've brought it up. I know it's completely out of scale. And the price is a bit shit if that's all you're putting in the box. But they've done that many of them. That now to bring a bigger one in, kind of, when they announced it, I think I was probably one of the only people that was a bit wound up about it.
I was really not bothered, to be honest, when they announced that they were doing a new RT, because it's like, well, we've kind of got a certain style of it now. It's like, it's not, like you said, the original sculpt isn't that bad.
The sculpt itself is spot on. It's just like you said, the scale issue, which I'll admit it's never bothered me. I think the current astromech sculpt lends itself better to the R5 units and other droids, because I think there is something a little bit off about the R2 Dome. It's a little bit too petite.
It's almost a bit. Yeah, it's. I know what you mean. I can't quite put my finger on it, but
it's a little bit. I don't know. It's a little bit too squinched up and a little. I don't know. There's something about it I just can't put my finger on.
It's stubby.
That's the one. It's stubby, but it could be stubbier.
Yeah.
Sick of hearing that from other half.
Wow.
Saturday Night Live.
Sponsored by I Ain't Got the Box Fun Home.
Yeah, that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, Ziro the Hutt. Do it, you cowards.
Cowards.
They are.
Absolute cowards. Give me my more Hutts.
But they could do it like I said. They could again. What they could do and what they will do are two separate conversations. But it's feasible and it's doable, and we should have it in our collections. And Hasbro should stop being wimps.
Cowards.
I wanted to just give them a quick mention earlier, but have you guys seen the custom 2008 Clone Wars figures that Customs for the Kid puts up on Instagram?
Oh yeah, back
they
in
did
the day.
Admiral Trench this last week, and I know that they did a Ziro the Hutt ages ago, and they are just incredible. That's the dream right there. That's what we should have got back in the day, but
yeah, absolutely.
Hasbro can find it in their very tightly wound hearts to give us one in the Black Series, then all for it.
It's actually that Customs for the Kid custom that sort of inspired me to put Ziro on the list, because I think they did such an amazing job with that custom figure. So to see what is possible and what that would actually look like, because to look at an animated character, it's like, yeah, that might translate well into a figure, it might not, but when you actually see it envisioned, it's like, yeah, just it's needed. It's absolutely needed. And if they wanted to be really brave, stick in what's his name? What's her name rather?
Sice Noodles. Yeah. Oh my god.
And then that lays the groundwork for the Max Rebo band to appease the OT fans. So, we're thinking of everyone.
And an IG unit in purple. Yeah. Purple IG unit as well. Like the thing on it. Yeah, I'd have that. Yeah. So you could give it to Cad Bane.
Absolutely.
Everyone's happy.
Definitely. So, James, that brings us to our, what are we on? 4?
Number 4.
4th pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on his 4th. So what's your 4th pick for the Clone Wars 20th anniversary celebration?
We'll go to Dark Horse Comics for this next one, just because I want to save what I consider to be the best for last. So number 4 for me is Art Trooper Alpha.
Oh yeah,
from the Clone Wars comics from back in the day.
Oh yeah,
everything is basically what I enjoyed a lot as a kid. So walking into Toys R Us and grabbing that comic pack with the fight for Jabim begins just plastered over the front of it.
That'd be so good.
I want that figure just in 6-inch scale, all the weathering, everything. Yeah. Gonna waste no money on it. Up that price if you have to. Although there is a few different versions they can do, because I believe that either a couple of different artists drew him during the comic book run, or he's just seen differently on different panels. But particularly from the Jabim storyline, I think it ties in nicely with what we've just seen in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. And I don't think he gets enough love anymore. I love Captain Rex, but I think he stole all the thunder away from him.
Mm-hmm.
He's the OG, isn't he? He's the
absolutely
OG.
Definitely. And again, we're going to talk about it again. 30th anniversary collection. Throw back to that comic pack. Oh my god!
Comic packs, boys. Comic packs.
Oh, that was peak Hasbro. Like one of the things that will always baffle me about Hasbro's decision-making process is the fact that Marvel, when Disney bought out Lucasfilm, Marvel jumped back onto the Star Wars comic train, and they were like, right, we're just going to produce all the comics, and you've got all these different stories. Just do comic packs again.
Yeah.
There's never been a better time to do it, literally. So why are we not getting it? Like, don't get me wrong, I love vintage collection, but I'm getting in terms of 3 3/4 inch, I'm getting bored of the black and silver. All right, I loved the fact that we had all these different we had all these different lines back when 3 3/4 inch was a thing, and there was a new series for each sort of line. And like during 30th anniversary collection, comic packs were their own thing, exclusives were their own thing. Do you know what I mean? Just diversify the packaging a little bit. Let's see something new, because I'm fed up of wanting to keep figures carded and seeing it and thinking that's going to look sick carded, and then reminding myself, oh wait, hang on, it's going to be on a vintage card, and I have loads of them.
It's just got boring, hasn't it?
I agree with you.
That's I love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a hater. I don't hate vintage collection, but I just want more different. I want something different. It's it was exciting when it got revived, but now's the time to start introducing.
Sublime, something about that.
Because that's one of the things that Black Series has got. And I know that sounds like I'm being biased, but Black Series has got that Sublime aspect. It's got the comic book stuff, which is different to the mainline stuff. It's got the gaming greats, which is similar but still somewhat different. Whereas Vintage Collection is just vintage card. It's a one and done.
It's copy and paste, isn't it? It's literally just, we've got the card. Let's find a picture and make it the most inaccurate picture possible. Let's get all the Star Wars fans riled up with a picture. Let's get all the Star Wars fans riled up with a title on the name. I get it, guys. I get it, but the packaging just causes more problems than it solves. And I just want to see something new, because black and silver's just touch grass.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people that vintage packaging it holds a lot of not nostalgia is the wrong word, but it's
heritage.
Yeah, you get that crowd, don't you? That's my Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Power of the Force is my Star Wars, but you don't see me clamoring for every single figure to be released on a Power of the Force card with a giant Vader helmet on it. You know, I'm open to change. I like the fact that we get different packaging for different lines. I love that. Like, one of the things that I love about collecting is the fact that if I choose to keep a figure carded, I've got all these different examples of packaging on my wall or on my shelf, and we just don't get that anymore.
Evolution of time through card back, and that's
which is why I'm loving that Lucasfilm 50th anniversary stuff so much.
Yeah,
because it's throwing back. Yeah, it's packaging we've already seen, but do that again.
Yeah,
but yes, ARC Trooper Alpha.
ARC Trooper Alpha.
And since we're on the topic of packaging, do an Obi-Wan with it.
Give him the fucking luchador hat. Give him the mask. Give him the mask. Because it's so easy. We've got an Obi-Wan. Just give him the mask. Yes. Jedi symbol.
With the comic book, make the comic book bigger.
That's it.
Who the fuck cares? Just put it in a box.
On the shelf. Everything.
Throw away. Just a nod. Just do it as a nod to comic packs.
There it is.
Oh, there he is. Perfect.
Do it
Perfection.
Again. That's a solid Obi-Wan as well, in my opinion. A lot of people
really
hate to do the hard, like the plastic Jedi robes.
The detail on that one, I love the fact that they didn't just use something they already had. They added all this battle damage and wear and tear to his robes and stuff. It was so good.
Yeah.
Such a weird, unusual choice. You just don't get that anymore. And while we're on the subject, there he is. Oof.
There he is.
Look at that.
Could you move the rangefinder down on that one? Because I picked one of those up recently.
No.
And it moved really well. Like, I could move the rangefinder down, but as a kid, like I've got the significant memory of not being able to do it, and also remembering that the helmet was just stupidly hard to get off of the head underneath.
He's just describing it as you do it.
I don't know if they did a running change or something over the years, but I think the rangefinder is quite a good character trait. Sorry for speaking over you there, Dan.
No, it's all right. No worries. No, it's me. But you went on about slight changes in terms of the comic packs, but I did notice that with some of them because I picked up the Cade Skywalker one, and they had some of them came with lightsabers and some of them didn't. So there was definitely running changes. So it wouldn't surprise me. I can't remember if mine had a moving rangefinder. I think it.
Well, mine
might have done.
Mine doesn't. It's just very, very bendy.
Quality figure, though.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I think that's one of the things as well. Like, if they were to bring that figure to the Black Series, would you settle for an Echo repaint or a Fordo repaint in this case, or would you want all new sculpting, supersized pauldron, battered, tatty?
It's got to be all new. I don't buy the excuse that for Fordo. I've got him behind me here as much as that one's a piece of crap. It's on my shelf. And I just don't buy the excuse that they thought, ARC Troopers look like this in the 2008 Clone Wars. Let's mix them together because the fans will love that. No,
is that what they actually said?
It was something like that. Yeah, the way that it came across to me is that basically somebody sat there at Echo, Googled ARC Trooper, up pops Fives and Echo. And they go, right, let's make that one red.
Yeah.
So,
I wouldn't even be surprised if it was even that. To me, it's just they wanted to introduce an ARC Trooper into that 50th anniversary line, and they were like, well, we've got an ARC Trooper already, and we did Echo. It's like, oh, we'll just repaint that then. Oh, but he needs a different helmet, so just update the helmet. All right, but yeah, ARC Troopers are the same, aren't they? I don't think there was any.
Glue the helmet on, but glue the helmet on.
I don't think no research went into that one whatsoever.
No. Yeah, I want the big pauldron on this. I'd actually go for a hard plastic waist cape on it, just so that you could get the weathering properly without it just being a pair of jagged scissors across the bottom of a soft goods piece.
Yeah.
Like the what was it? I saw that on the concept art 6-inch Vader. His cape should have been just ripped to bits, and
they did tatter it a little bit, didn't they, towards the bottom? But I think for me with that one, it was the fact that he's just got like the movie accurate body, and it's like his body in concept art looks nothing like that. It's like not painting it doesn't make it look accurate. Obi-Wan you can kind of get away with because it is very, very similar, but the Vader, I love the idea of it. I hated the execution.
I'd actually settle for this one going into the publishing box, to be fair, because I don't mind them. I'm all for endorsing the artists that created the characters initially, or the people that they've got working for them.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
Get rid of your product shot and just put a lovely big piece of artwork over the front. Give the in-box collectors something to put on the shelves that isn't just recycling.
Well, it looks like from the new publishing figures that we're getting, it looks like you're getting the best of both worlds, doesn't it? Because obviously they're going plastic free, so when you open the illustrated flap on the front, you're actually getting the product shot covering the figure itself, which I think is better than the Boba Fett in disguise figure that they did, where it was just like an empty tray with the figure exposed. I hate that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's asking for theft in America, isn't it? I mean, we don't have the luxury of finding these on the shelves in the UK, but every man and his dog will be just swapping those out for The Undertaker or Spider-Man, you know.
Or even a banana. Because I've seen that happen. Mental.
But yeah, ARC Trooper Alpha is a brilliant shout, and I think, you know, Captain Rex aside, like I think he falls into the same category for me at least as Vizsla in the sense that it's a figure that needs to be made and is at the top of the top of the food chain in terms of Black Series, because you add all the detail that Black Series should include, and you apply it to this figure. And it's that rifle as well. We need that rifle in Black Series.
Yeah.
So that then we've got an accurate weapon to give to our inaccurate photos.
Oof. Or you can 3D print it.
Yeah, you could do that. So, Dan, what is your fourth pick, my friend? What are we going for?
So, because I said to myself, Dan, you can't have Darth Maul in your list. I know you love him so much. You can't do it. But I said, Dan, come on now. You put Darth Maul in the list. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. We can't do it. So we settled.
You had to get Oni somehow, didn't you?
Savage Press. Because he's a big boy. He's a big lad. Very horny. And my Darth Maul needs his brother there. Needs his brother, and it's another Clancy Brown to have in your collection. And look at him. He's just badass. Just a big badass boy. That armour. It needs to be the armoured version. I'm not having no... Don't just do a Night Brother Warrior, because that's what I'm using at the minute. That's Savage Press up there. It's not really, I know, but that's my Hasbro Dan logic. But no, Savage Press in his big armour. Make him Chongus. Make him a brute. Badass. Need it. Let's do it.
What are we saying? Are we saying lightsaber and sort of force pipe weapons as well?
Oh, well, if Hasbro can do it, but it's a question if, again, that question that you raised, Steve, but everything, just give me it all. The Wayfinder as well, pack that in. The snake, give me the fucking snake.
To the bishop.
Give me the weird little snake. Give me all the things to go with my Savage Press.
So what are we saying, deluxe release?
Yeah, deluxe it. Deluxe it. And then if they did a standard
Interchangeable arm as well.
Oh, if they could do that, so yeah, interchangeable armour and arms and things, so you could have him as his like shirtless look. Yeah.
He's another one, isn't he? He's right at the top of that list of figures that need to be Black Series figures.
Yeah, he is. He needs to have him there. Way overdue. I remember when he came out during the Clone Wars line, everyone went absolutely nuts for him. And they then released that free pack, of which I'm kicking myself to this day for not getting, because it came with Mother Talzin.
Oh, did you not get it? I thought you had it.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan.
You didn't get the lightsaber though, did you? For Savage?
I didn't either.
On that one.
Yeah. They didn't put it in the
lightsaber, and they didn't put it in the multi-pack.
Don't rub it in, Steve.
Yeah, they didn't put it.
Although, I didn't get the standard version.
It was easily fixable by sticking more lightsaber in his hand. To be fair.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
That in Black Series would just be
incredible, wouldn't it?
Just beautiful.
Oof.
Just.
I think we need to take a moment to just appreciate how amazing that line of animated figures was as well.
100%. Beautiful.
Good God Almighty.
Things to say about that.
It's so good.
When you were saying about Power of the Force, Steve, that's my childhood. That's properly what got me into collecting. That was when like toys went into figures. If we want to say it that way, they went from being played with and they were put on the shelf. And it's great.
What's your sort of, in terms of Clone Wars packaging, which is the one that is the most special to you? Like, is it the Clone Trooper helmet, the blue and white colour scheme, or is it the Captain Rex blue with the clouds, or is it the red and the white, or is it the green towards the end of the line? Which is the one that stands out to you?
That's a hard question.
That's a hard question, Steve. You can't.
This is what I'm here for. I'm here to... That's the one, Shadows of the Dark Side. I could never remember the name of it.
Oh,
That's it, yeah. I like the red and white from 2009.
Really?
I think it's just nice and clean. I'm looking at a couple on my shelf now, and I don't know, I've got a soft spot for the 2008 one with the Clone Trooper helmet. But I like how you've got the character profile on the back of the card in the corner. I think it just looks nice. I don't know, it just does something.
It has that nice hidden S shape a little bit in there, from what I
It hasn't
remember.
got that bloody game card crammed in either.
Oh, I've got a whole stack of them. And I've got the Commander Brick carrying case to go with it. Because one little celebration, I managed to find him.
God,
there he is.
That's one I never managed to get. There you
He's
go,
out,
Dan.
he's out of the box, but if anybody wants the mat, you know, if either of you want that, you can have it.
Oofed. Commander Brick and allies. The ultimate duo. Yeah.
Loved those figures. That line was just, they didn't care about 5 seconds of screen time, 5 minutes of screen time, 5 hours of screen time, did they, when they were producing that line? They were just like, yeah, if this guy was in the Clone Wars, then you're going to get it. Unless it
Some of them are the best ones as well. Some of them figures quality, like the Mandalorian police officer.
Firefighter droid.
Yeah.
Firefighter droid.
Definitely.
Really. That wave were really difficult, because didn't he come out with the Palpatine as well? That I don't think Palpatine really appeared that much in Clone Wars, even at the point when he were released. And they were like, yeah, here you go. This gangly Palpatine. There he is. Rare as rocking horse.
Mine are all behind an acrylic case on the other side of the room, so I can't do what Steve's doing, but
I hate myself so much for opening this one. Because holy shit, is he worth a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Even back in the day, as soon as he came out.
And you know what's really mad about it? He's a shit figure.
Yeah, because the legs aren't articulated.
He's pants. He's rubbish.
But if they did him in Black Series to go with Savage.
Look at that as well. Like, he's not even got a robe on, he's just got a cape. Oh, it's crap. But the head sculpt is really bloody good. Oh man. The memories. Yeah, shit figure. Really shit figure. But bloody hell. I just remember pre-ordering that wave and thinking, this is just a normal, standard wave of figures. Ain't nothing special or nothing exciting to see here.
10 years later.
10 years later. God damn. Even that Magna Guard, the white Magna Guard, which is like, I think, other than Sergeant Brick, one of the only Clone Wars figures I'm missing. But bloody hell.
Yeah, the one with the soft goods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I prefer the original Magna Guard they did.
Yeah, but both really nice. I can't say a bad thing about any of the figures in that line, I don't think. No. Even the ones that haven't got much articulation. When they popped out on the Phase 2 Rex, I mean...
Yeah.
Piece of shit, but it looks nice.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I remember like kicking up a real stink when they changed the Clone Trooper helmets. And they made it, like, because they released, like, the first few Clone Troopers that came out for the Clone Wars, they had a very specific look. And then they updated them very early on to make them look more accurate to the series. And I remember going, well, it's not consistent with the rest of my collection. And then, like, because all the other clones used the same body, when Commander Stone came out, and it was a
Commander Stone.
Oh, man. Me and Rasputin 37, we kicked off something fierce about that one. We were like, well, there's no articulation in the ankles, and he's got swivel wrists. What the fuck is this? Bloody hell!
I remember it well. Watching them videos. I think it was saved by the crisp paint applications.
Yeah.
One of you said that.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on it now, like Commander Stone is a bloody good figure.
Yeah.
That head sculpt as well that he has is just. I think they completely redid it, like from head to toe. Like even like the subtle details of the tattoos and stuff as well. Like everything about that one was just fucking amazing.
The things we used to complain about back then, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when we used to moan
Little
about.
did we know.
We used to moan about those McDonald's like blaster, you know, the rocket firing.
Oh, I
launchers and
love
things like
them though.
Well, that's it. Now I've got a real affinity for them because it's just like, oh no, because they're daft, but they're great.
They are. That's one of the things I really wish they'd done for the 50th anniversary stuff. Is like when they re-released those Clone Wars figures, like give Anakin the big rocket launcher thing for his wrist.
Give Echo his big rotary cannon, and even include the missile. But you don't have to because even back then you didn't need to include those missiles. They'd still work on your displays. There's Hasbro.
So good, weren't they? While we're on the subject of Clone Wars, it sort of ties in. Angel Prime's just dropped a comment asking what were our thoughts on the Tales of the Jedi.
Poetry. Fucking beautiful.
I think Dan liked it.
I really fucking loved it. I was watching it, and I think I was messaging you, Steve, and I think I'm messaging people because I'd waited all day for it, and I got in, just sat down, monged out, and just streamed it all an hour in bits. After the first episode, I were in bits, and then I got to the Dooku ones. I'm like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
The Dooku episodes were so good.
Really good.
This Filoni at his absolute peak. To see him where he came from with Clone Wars to this, it's just a beautiful thing to see, and I want more. And I know I shouldn't.
He said the thing.
I did the thing. But
No, it was really good. Like the Dooku episodes for me, I absolutely loved. I love that we got so much character development in 3 short episodes, more than we ever got in the prequels.
And it's the time expanse as well in the short.
It's like that bit, like spoiler alert for anybody who's not seen it, but that part where Dooku's like looking at the tree, and he's talking about Qui-Gon dying. Oh my god, that got me. It did me. I was like, no way.
One of the small things I noticed is when he leaves to go to the industrial district to meet Palpatine, he takes the same small Jedi ship that Anakin takes when he goes to the Senate building.
Yes, the parallels entirely during that scene. I was like, I was watching it and thinking, holy shit, Yaddle is Mace Windu, and Anakin is Dooku. Like this is like poetry. It rhymes. I couldn't believe it.
And then people have the gall to say that Last Jedi is terrible, but those episodes just further justify why it's perfection.
That was literally
Luke
like.
Says, it is Star Wars.
That's literally the first thing I said after watching those Dooku episodes. I was like, how can anyone argue the toss with Last Jedi when this is literally everything that Luke said? It's like everyone's so willing to accept these and being like, oh well, Dooku's entitled to his point of view, and then when Luke says it, it's like, well, that's not my Luke Skywalker. It's like, come on, he's saying the exact same things that's been said throughout.
He read the Jedi text, and page turners, they were not.
Mad.
Only because they were just saying that to cover his ass, but you know.
But yeah, bloody hell. And I think the Order 66 parts as well. Like when Ahsoka was training.
Yeah.
The part where the part where Rex is like, oh yeah, that was Jesse who just shot you. He's like,
he's just leaving.
The amount of complaining that's been on Twitter about Obi-Wan having a mullet again. Find something more constructive to do with your life.
What's that grass outside, Dan?
Yeah, Steve, because you messaged me about that. Like, hey, it's all right. I kind of get it, but at the same time, Steve, touch grass.
Come on.
Nah, I can't talk. I literally did a video about all the Cantina band members and what accessories you need to do and how to do it.
You did the research, so I didn't have to.
That's why I'm here.
You know.
Probably I
Right.
still got the names wrong, but whatever.
Nah, fuck it. So, before we disappear on a completely new tangent, James, fifth and final pick, please, mate.
Best and final pick. The best of the bunch for me, and one that is sorely missing from the 2008 onwards animated series, and that's Reiko Hardeen from the Clone Wars. Just that's one of my favourite story arcs. Love the throwback to the Macquarie concept Boba Fett helmet. That'd just make a cracking figure. I don't know. I see it get a lot of controversy still to this day, but I don't really care. You've got Cad Bane, you've got Dooku. What's not to love? Bounty hunters killing each other over hats. It's just great.
Yeah.
It is a figure that I'm really surprised they didn't make, because when this sort of series of episodes began to air back in, what was it, 2012, 2013, Hasbro were at their height of releasing every figure that had 5 seconds of screen time. So I'm really surprised at this one being such a interesting looking character. Like you say, you've got that sort of throwback to the Boba Fett concept helmet.
I mean, everybody loves a bit of Boba Fett, so why not?
I'm really surprised they didn't release this one back in the day, to be honest.
It'd make a good one in the Black Series, though. You've got his rifle, removable helmets, the little briefcase. You could even make the sniper rifle buildable like crosshairs. His lightsaber, I suppose, from the very end of the story arc, when he goes to help Anakin with Dooku. It's got potential. I just think it'd work. Might be a bit of an oddity on the shelf in regards to what you could put it with, but
just throw him in with the Clone Wars boys. He'd look
it's also where the Ben Kenobi pseudonym comes from, so it'd just be nice to add it to your little Obi-Wan focus, if that's your thing.
It is a pretty important arc in the Clone Wars as well, isn't it? So it is one of those where if they've got this real focus on Mandalore and stuff, but I think a big focus needs to be put on some of the bounty hunters that appeared in Clone Wars as well, because they played such a massive part. Like you've got Ember, Sugi, all that. Serapas. Just get them all out there.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It plays a big part in Anakin's stance upon trusting the Jedi Order as well. He's lied to by his best friend, really, and
that's it.
You
and
just see how it slowly adds up, layers.
Yeah, it's like an onion.
Oh, a big juicy onion. I'd love this. I like you guys said. The fact that they didn't release it in the original Clone Wars line was just really bizarre, especially when we got stuff like Kato Parasiti. Amazing figure, but like this.
That's what I mean. Like Kato Parasiti in the grand scheme of things played a very small role compared to the role that Reiko Hardeen had. So
that's it.
The fact that we got that figure and not this one is quite bizarre, really. But I think, to be honest, with this one, I think it's one of those figures where I think, like with Savage Press, like with Arc Trooper Alpha, they're overdue in the sense that they're overdue for realistic interpretation. So I would actually be happy to see this one either in the Black Series or the Vintage Collection. And it is very rare that I pick up 3 3/4 inch stuff nowadays, at least in terms of new releases. But if they brought this to the TVC line, chuck it in the basket, it's going in. Interchangeable head.
Yeah. It's alien enough to come across as animated on your shelf as well. So
exactly. Yeah, I'm here for that one.
Oh yeah.
Dan, what is your 5th and final pick?
Oh yeah, my 5th and final. Haven't you done yours yet?
No, that was James's 5th. Now we need your 5th and then my 5th.
Oh, okay, sorry, guys. I were having a
Honestly.
moment. I just wanted to make sure everyone's having the bit, that's all.
Oh, wait, hang on a minute. Oh.
Have I...
Wait. I've not done... Wait.
Would you like
This
to
must be
take the
fourth pick,
floor?
yeah.
Would you like to take the floor, Mr.
I've got 2 more picks.
Yeah, do you want to get yours out?
I think I need to... This is my 4th... This is actually... I missed off the 4th.
It's all right, friendo.
Oh,
Because
bloody hell.
I thought we might have missed one, so I thought, you know what, I'll just give you a little chance to think.
We did. We got so wrapped up after you picked Savage.
Sorry.
I meant to do my pick, and I didn't.
Sorry.
We just jumped into James. I'm so sorry about that. Well, since your 4th pick was Savage Press, Dan, this one ties in really nicely to it, and especially because we were talking about that battle pack that was released. So my fourth pick is Mother Talzin. Because I think as a Black Series figure, and I think especially since you've got like the small sort of like you said earlier with sort of being relevant at this point in time, like you've got Fallen Order with Merrin. This is the perfect time to like start sticking some Night Sisters into the action figure collection again. And Mother Talzin is the matriarch of the Night Sisters, so let's bloody have her.
And to have her go with a Sarge... Sarge Ventress.
Yep.
Oh,
yes.
Perfect.
I must admit, I was toying with this one because I thought I did want to include another...
Give him his magic legs.
Yes, please. I really did want to put in another Ventress figure into my list, and I couldn't decide whether I wanted to put Night Sister Ventress in there or Tartakovsky Ventress, because while we were being realistic about repaints and reuse, I thought, well, they could easily, it wouldn't be accurate, but they could easily repaint the current Black Series Ventress into her Tartakovsky colours with like the white top and the black skirt. But I think over that one, I'd rather see the Night Sister version, but over the Night Sister version of Ventress, I'd much rather see Mother Talzin. She's just such an interesting character. I think there's obviously that link to the Darth Maul concept art that's there as well. She fascinates me. She really does, aesthetically and in terms of the character. She's just so interesting.
Accessories wise, it would bring something really friggin' different to the line. Give them the weird Marvel flamey effects and magical thing.
Yeah. I was just about to say, like, if you like think about the stand that came with Chopper, where it was all misty and stuff. Give her a nice display stand. Put her in a box similar to those, like, what were they called? Those like environment pieces that we got with like Jyn Erso and Rey and all that sort of stuff.
The thingy, what are they called?
You know what I mean? The environment pieces.
They did them like because they were trying to do like display stand things, weren't they?
Yeah, you had like the crate rock face with Rey, and then you had the rock face of Edu with Jyn. Put Mother Talzin on a stand like that with some like mist effects around the bottom.
Or if they were going to do a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, of which they already technically have a thing that they could reuse.
Hey-o.
Do you remember when they did this? They had them like display thingy ones, but then they had the static display thingy ones. Do you remember?
The centerpiece.
The centerpiece.
Yeah.
Give us repaint the Rey and Kylo Ren one, and if you're going to do a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, the mist effect thing, where you could do the vapey thing and give it to Mother Talzin, and that'd be like, give us a bunch of Night Sisters.
Yes.
Retool it a little bit, repaint it.
Fallen battle droid on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Grievous.
That. Oh, big old Grievous coming in.
That works.
I love that.
That works so well.
Yeah.
I'm
Weird.
I'm here for that. Weird Star Wars is the best Star Wars. This captures weirdness in a way that, just do that. Just do what Dan said. I'm here for that. 100%. 100%. Dan, what's your final pick?
Oh, hi there. Coming back to the final pick. So this is one where I was like, I've got to include comic. I've got to include Tartakovsky. And this character just it. Can you just put him on screen, please? Moment of silence, people. Okay. Our dearly beloved boy who was thrown into the sun but was then retconned not to because the current comic run, I believe, has brought him back to life and he's all good. I don't know what the current situation is with him in the current comic run. This is Dirge. He's my favourite boy, and this would definitely need to be a deluxe. And if at all possible, if they included him with a vehicle, I would cream my little Darth Vader embroidered panties because he is an absolute G. Give him the badass bike that he has, the jetpack, and if you could, oh Hasbro Daddy Dearest, give him the weird gooey arms that are like manky and helmet, removable helmet where he's got his revealed face, battle damage, the works, and this would be probably one of, if not the best Black Series figure ever. Ever.
Yeah.
I don't say that lightly.
I can't even disagree with that.
Just look at him.
Yeah.
What a knobhead. What a knobhead. Lance and all. The nunchuckers, the big ass gun. Just give him all the accessories and I would be a happy, happy boy.
Obviously, Hasbro would interpret this in a realistic style. So would you want to see him like this from the comics and like the original Clone Wars figure that came out where they realistically styled him? Or would you want him based on his Tartakovsky appearance?
It would be hilarious if they did the Tartakovsky one. Just because that design is brilliant.
With his tiny head.
With the tiny head and the big body. And especially when like Obi-Wan gets sucked into him and he's like,
That's it. Would you want armoured version or would you want naked spaghetti version?
Give me all the versions. Hasbro Pulse, do it as an exclusive to that if you're going to do it. But no. Oh boy, it would have to be comic because that's more realistic realms. But also include, the only thing to add on to that would be, include all the weird tendrils, the body contortion-y thingy, spaghetti, as it be. Include that as well, but have him look more in his comic book look. Because that's just more. I think that's more, I'd say, achievable in that size of box, and it also just looks more realistic.
Would you want them to include the removable helmet like they did in the comic pack back in the Legacy line?
Yes. Give me the removable helmet with the ugly ass face. Just give me a weird hand. Just give me all the body parts that you can have him just like just have him blown up. Just you could blow him apart and just have little gooey bits like how they did with C-3PO and the like cables, the imitative cables that they include with the Chewbacca and C-3PO pack. Do it with that, but just make it all gooey and I'd love it.
Yeah, same. That'd be so good.
Flawless, really, whichever way they do it.
I think Dirge is. I feel like a bit. We're going to end on a bit of a flat note now because that's like the main event of Clone Wars figures. I think.
Sorry, guys.
Like that is the one, isn't it? When you think Clone Wars and you think Clone Wars Wishlist and you think figures that need to be made in Clone Wars, that's the one.
He's the one.
That's the one. Above all the others, that's the one. So I feel a bit like we've we're finishing on a bit of a wet lettuce.
That's it, guys. Thanks for all for watching. This live stream was sponsored by Fan Home.
I only get 4 picks. Everyone else gets 5 because my last pick is shit. Well, it's not shit. It's not. To be fair,
No.
it's not shit. We've seen it before. I think we're likely to see it again. Black Series Concepts on Instagram keeps sharing it, and I'm like, holy crap! It got announced. And then I look at the bottom and I see the little watermark and I think, oh, it didn't. But this is one I want. Can we just have him, please?
Yeah.
Where's he at?
It's just such a different design to him, isn't it?
It's the nostalgia for the Clone Wars fans with that one. It was like oh shit, he's like a snowtrooper when he first shows up. You're like, oh, they're going there. That's a nice nod, and it's always been undefeated, really, hasn't it? I suppose as the years have gone on, with iconography.
It's another one of those where it's like it appeases a multitude of fans because it appeases Clone Wars fans, but it's also got that heavy influence of Ralph McQuarrie.
Yep.
So, just this is one that we need, I think. I think that for me, the reason why I want to see it released again, and this is another one, I'd be happy to see it in the Vintage Collection. I'd be happy to see it in the Black Series. Black Series preferably, because that's where I'm sort of leaning to at the minute. But in the Vintage Collection, this would be, it would undo the mistakes that were made with that original Clone Wars figure, because as good as that original 3 3/4 inch figure is, it wasn't, you look back on it fondly because it's like, it reminds you of a time where collecting was a hell of a lot of fun, but that figure did have its flaws. Even by today's standards, it was flawed. Like, really tiny little hands, couldn't hold the weapon properly. For some reason, the top of the helmet popped off, and I still don't know why. It was weird. It was very skinny. It was, I don't know, there's just something about it. And I think in the Vintage Collection, this would slap. This would be incredible as a 3 3/4 inch realistic figure. And I think as a Black Series figure, it'd be even better. So...
especially realistic, as you say, make him a bit more chunky.
That's it, yeah.
It didn't look like it was keeping very warm for a cold weather gear figure back in the day.
No, exactly. And I think, Diami's just mentioned it here. You could reuse the sculpt for the Flame Trooper. You could also swap out the head and make a Galactic Marine out of it, I suppose. Because I think if you did this figure in a realistic style, I think the armor would really closely resemble a Galactic Marine.
Yeah.
So you kill the two birds with one stone there and just swap out the head, boom, 2 separate figures. But yeah, I think this is one for me where it throws me back to my Clone Trooper army building days, and it's just a figure that I want to see again on shelves. We only got it once, and then as a weird pack-in with a Freako Speeder with a soft good skirt. So let's have it again.
It's a good episode as well. I rather enjoy that one.
It's one of the more, well, they're all memorable, but that's one that stays in my memory the most. It's like one of the, was it in the first season?
I think it is.
It was one of the more stronger episodes from the first season. But, I think a clone as well. Just because we haven't had too many clones in this list, which is nice to see. But
yeah, that's something that I tried to lean away from. I'm going to be honest. I didn't want to throw too many clones in there. When I saw that James had picked Arc Trooper Alpha, I was like, right, I'll keep it to the one, because I thought I'm not going to mention. I'm not going to say it as an honourable mention because my honourable mentions want to go to more deserved characters, but I really wanted to put a Scuba Trooper on my list.
Yeah.
I really wanted to put Frodo in his Phase 2 armour on the list. A lot of these picks, were going to be figures that we've already seen in one way or another. So I wanted to try and keep it to figures that we've not seen at all.
Clones should be easy for Hasbro because they could just literally go on Google, like, right, we can make that, boom, let's do it, repaint it, or, figure something out. I think we try to do things in the list where it's like, a little bit of effort required to a lot, depending on our degrees of.
Than a gingerbread clone trooper.
Oh.
Well, that's what we all want.
If I could eat it, yeah, but probably, That
gingerbread clone trooper can just
jog on.
Just why? Why?
Give me those 501st clones from the Umbar story arc, and
God no.
I can't really say any more about them.
The lack of disrespect to those boys. The lack of disrespect.
So
sorry, Steve.
No, you're all right. Go on, James.
It made me chuckle that they announced the Phase 2 clone trooper today, because I would make the assumption that they would just use the newer Phase 2 clone trooper mold for that. And I think AliExpress has got a good year on them with that one. They shot that one out there in the masses, and the quality of them is pretty much on par with what Hasbro released for a full price, I'll be honest with you. So
have you picked any of those up?
Yeah, I've got that one. They did a 501st trooper on that body mold, and then they've just done what they're calling Commander Apo.
That's the one I was looking at.
From Blythe.
Yeah, I was looking at the Apo, and I thought to myself, I was like, oh yeah, I actually kind of want to.
Oh wow!
Look at that.
That's sick, innit? That does look like something like Hasbro.
14 quid, 15 quid and change.
Get over.
You can't beat this. I mean, the legs are the worst part, but even they don't look too bad.
That looks really good. All, is it?
What's he like in terms of plastic consistency? Is he a bit gummy, or is he all right?
A little bit soft in a few areas, but he's not going to fall over or melt in hot weather. It's not too bad. Give it a blast with the hairdryer, and anything that's warped in the post sort of just goes back to how it would be anyway.
Oh man, wormhole.
Oh, I'm already in the 3D printing wormhole. I can't go down any further.
Can't go down the bootleg wormhole as well. No, I forgot who it was who shared some of them on Instagram the other day, and I saw him and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to have a gander at some of these. And I saw like the Shock Trooper and the plain white clone, and I was like, oh no.
What's interesting is they do a Shock Trooper that comes with the electric staff as well. I haven't got that one.
Shut up.
But,
Stop it. Stop.
This is how you sell toys, Hasbro.
Oh boy. That. Wow.
Just for the guys in the comments, James, where did you get that from?
It's on AliExpress. If you just go on that website or download the app, stick in Star Wars Black Series. I'll assume it's one of the first things that pops up.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube and just search Black Series Clone Trooper bootleg, there's a couple of reviews and they should have direct links. I think that's how I found it.
How about those YouTubes with the affiliate links?
I must admit, when I had a look on the website, I was like, "Oh, this looks a little bit sus." I'm not sure whether I trust it or not because it looked a bit like Wish.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh." So, do they actually come from China then, or are they UK based?
Oh, they come from China, yeah. Just come in like big puffy bubble wrap in a box, little baggy, that kind of business.
What we're talking?
No import charges or anything. No.
I was just about to say, yeah. Like, what about time frame for delivery? What's that like?
Maybe just over a week, 2 weeks at the most is where I've waited.
Dan,
it's not too bad. I mean,
oh dear.
Don't look at me.
Bloody hell.
I said no more figures until Christmas.
I think that might have to be broken, mate.
Come early, Dan.
So it's coming early.
So we're coming up to sort of like the 2 hour mark. So we'll wrap things up in a little bit because I don't want to keep you guys longer than I have to. But honourable mentions. for the Clone Wars? Like, what figures would...
Krell.
Just in terms of ones that didn't make the list, but you still want to see, what are we talking about?
Krell.
Going back to characters that didn't get a lot of screen time, I would very much like to see a 2-pack of Jedi Master Dai and Captain Keeley.
Yes.
Oh.
That is a shout.
Nikto Jedi, what's not to love?
And the fact that his name is I'm Gonna Die. And he does. Yeah. Yeah. He's one we need.
I could spend another 2 hours on it, honestly.
You could, because this was the problem with creating these lists. Because there's like, I look back, I'm like, oh, but I didn't include them in. And I really had to
Boba
commit.
Fett from the train heist.
Oh. Yeah. Or even just him in his Camino gear. Like when he's, in the training gear that they have.
Oh, yeah.
Just
the cadet outfits.
Because then you could just have an interchangeable head, so you could have it as Boba Fett or just some random clone. And you could have a group of clone cadets, which would be mint to see.
That'd be great.
For me, I put... Because I was like, I can't put Darth Maul.
What, Spider-Legs Maul?
Spider-Legs Maul needs... I know I should have, but we've got 3 Mauls in Black... Yeah, 3 Mauls in Black Series. Technically 4, but one of them's a re-release, isn't it?
And we've got about 16 Mandos, so putting another Maul in there isn't going to matter.
This is very true. But yeah, Spider Maul would be that would be another one that's like, yeah, I'd like that very much. Give me the snake with him as well.
Yeah, definitely. I put 3 down for my honourable mentions, but I think I'm going to swap one of them out because my first honourable mention was Arc Trooper Jesse, but I'm pretty sure that was that got revealed as a pipeline, didn't it? Or am I making that up?
I think
Yakface put it out there as one of his legitimate leaks a while ago. But there is a picture out there that looks just like the little pipeline headers that they put on the streams.
Because that's the thing, I wanted to put him on the list because he, out of all the clone troopers from the recent season of Clone Wars, he's the one that I want. But I feel like it's pretty much a guarantee that he's going to get made. So, in place of Jesse, I'm going to remove Jesse from my honourable mentions and I'm going to replace him. Since you did a 2-pack, James, I'm going to go one better. I'm going to go with a 3-pack. And I'm going to go with Numa, Waxer, Oil.
Yeah.
Phase 1 armour, motifs on the helmet, little Numa. Don't even have to be articulated, I wouldn't care. Just a little
5 POA.
Yeah, just a little Numa, Waxer and Boyle.
With a little super doll in her hand as well.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. That's what I want. And that's another one that I keep seeing from Black Series Concepts when he keeps sharing it. I'm like, will you stop? Because I keep thinking it's real.
Because I had that. I literally opened it up and I was about to message Steve and be like, this is coming out. This is coming out. And then I'm like, no, actually, there's the sticker. Just I'm about to send. I'm like, no, don't look like an idiot.
But yeah, I think that's like, in terms of like how far up there Dirge is on your list, Dan, I think Waxer and Boyle and Numa is there on mine. Because I just keep thinking back to that amazing sideshow pack they did years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that something like that in Black Series would just be insane. So bring that on. And then for my final honourable mention, I went with a nostalgic one, but I feel like they won't do it just because they adjusted her costume in Tales of the Jedi. But for the purposes of throwing it back to 2008, I want Ahsoka with Rota the Huttlet. On the Clone Trooper helmet card, the backpack with the soft goods flap. That's the norm.
I'm glad you brought that one up because they announced the season 3 onwards version on the stream today.
Yeah.
But when one of the guys was talking about it, he said, "Here's Ahsoka in her outfit from the earlier seasons of the Clone Wars." So did they cock up with what they were saying about it, or did they cock up with the picture they were showing?
That's a good point, actually, because I mean, she does appear in that costume from I think around season 3, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's the Mina Bonteri story where it's first introduced.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know. I think that will probably be the costume that they go with, just because it lasted longer than the like sort of Clone Wars movie into seasons 1 and 2 costume.
Low battery
the stream is ruined. End the broadcast. But yeah, I think I do honestly think that that's one that we'll probably never get, just for that reason that they'll probably not delve back into that costume again. But I'd settle for the one that they've announced. To be fair, I'm fine with that. As long as we get an updated episode 3 Anakin. Update episode 3 Anakin.
Long overdue.
So that we can stick her alongside him.
Ropey boy.
Mm-hmm.
Very ropey.
Not great at all. So yeah, have you guys got any more honourable mentions or?
I've
got a bit of a minor one, really. I wouldn't mind seeing Steela Guerrera. I think Saw gets a lot of love, and he's in about every other animated show going. But I think she plays a major part in what he endeavours going forward from that story in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's a shout. That's a shout.
And it's like the whole first Rebels kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Anakin trained the first Rebels, so yeah.
I think that one would suit the vintage collection really well.
Yeah.
I think
bit of a long shot for the Black Series, but
yeah, I was just about to say. But for the VC line, I think throw her in there. That'd be amazing.
Off.
About you, Dan, you got another one?
I've got 3 or 4.
I've got a gun to your head, and you've got to pick one.
Oh no! Because they kind of come as a group, but it's the bounty hunters from that arc.
I was just about to say
Embo. Just Embo.
That's fair.
And
that's fair because I was just about to say one of my other ones was going to be Serapis. I think you could really do a good job with that one as a deluxe figure.
Yeah. If they did Embo with his little doggo, that would give me joy. That would give me joy.
And I don't think creatures are out of the realm of possibility now that we've got that little thing with Omega.
Oh yeah, Ruby.
Yeah.
Certainly possible. I can't believe I forgot her name. Sorry.
God, fake fan.
I know, right? Tell me about it. It's because I only watch everything once, and for the most part, I remember everything. But then there's certain stuff that I just fucking forget. It's all good. It's all good. Well, like I said, I think we'll wrap things up because we've been going for just over 2 hours. So I'm going to let you guys get on with your night. But thank you so much for joining me and for going all in with this list, really, because I think we've had a lot of fun discussing it over the past few weeks over on Instagram and stuff. And I'm glad that it's finally come to fruition. I honestly thought that something was going to go wrong and this had just collapsed, but I think it's gone pretty well.
Hey, it's gone all right.
So I think this might be
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, thank you for joining us, James.
Tonight, you've let me walk amongst the pair of you, and I grew up watching the both of you, so it does mean something. I appreciate the hospitality. Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. Thank you for joining us. It's been a blast. I've really enjoyed it, actually. I think I'm definitely going to make this a more common occurrence. Because I've been saying to you, haven't I, for a while, Dan, like in terms of content and stuff, I've been wanting to do something a little bit different on the channel, and I think this constitutes different. So
more content.
So, thank you. Like I said, thank you to the pair of you for joining me, and stay tuned for more to come. I think a gaming greats list.
Oh yes.
Get to work on those lists, guys, because I think that's going to be the next one.
Bomber Racing, here we come.
I'm in for that. Or Demolition.
Star Wars Demolition. Chuffing heck, yeah.
Or Masters of Terrace Cassie or something like that.
So many games.
Definitely. Right, so yeah, we'll wrap things up. Thank you to you guys for joining me for the stream, and thank you to everybody who's tuned in to watch. Thanks to everyone who's dropped a comment in the chat. It really means a lot, and hopefully you'll join us for more of these in the future. So I'll nip round the table, guys. If you want to tell us and tell everyone else where we can find you online. James, whereabouts are you?
At robo_quip. What I can't even remember what it is. It's RoboQuip on Instagram. It's got some underscores in there somewhere. That's just the main place for all my Star Wars content. Possibly coming to a YouTube channel near you in the future.
Oh,
needs to.
Maybe.
It needs to, because
Please.
I keep looking at that collection and I'm like, I need to see a tour of it.
Please, Pappy, please.
Look at it.
Oh my god.
Look at it. If you want to see more of this, guys, just head over to James's Instagram because he posts some amazing stuff. I'll tell you what, James, I'm really enjoying your current expedition through the Clone Wars line again. And all the updates I'm getting from you picking up all those new...
So jelly.
Well, those figures that look like they were released yesterday.
Yeah, it's not the cheapest game to be playing, but
no,
it's really crazy that buying those at the minute gives me more joy than going out and buying a Black Series figure off the shelf, or even getting a hot toy. Like some of the stuff that's out today is losing its shine, and that's just what puts a smile on my face at the end of the day. Same stuff that did when I was a kid.
fair place to you.
If I could go back in time to a Toys R Us in 2008 for that Midnight Madness event again, stuff for dreams.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the. I must admit, that's one of the reasons why I've been having such a blast going back and collecting like Power of the Force and stuff, because there's a feeling you get from collecting stuff like that you just don't get from collecting current products, whether it's good or bad. Whether the current stuff is great or whether it's awful. That there's nothing hits you like getting that stuff from back in the day. So yeah, excellent stuff. What about you, Dan? Where can we find you? I mean, we know at this point.
Often you can find me in the gutter, but no, you can find me on doing fan home videos, fan home unboxing videos, everyone's favourite video series on YouTube.
Well, have you got any fan home content lined up for us?
I've got 5 boxes stacked there waiting to be done. So if you enjoy watching unboxing videos on fan home, then you can come onto my channel. But I do actually do more interesting things such as Star Wars The Black Series and Star Wars Micro Galaxies, but Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron. I'm having a real bloody blast with these things. So if you want to have a blast with me on those, a little finger blast on that, come finger blast on my subscribe button, baby, and we'll have some fun together. I'll see you all later.
He's gone. Brilliant stuff. Well, again, thank you guys for joining me. Thank you everybody who's watched for joining us as well.
Thank you for watching, everyone.
Thank you for watching.
Can't wait to do one of these again, and we will see you all soon. Until
finger blast that subscribe button now, boys and girls. Have a go on that one.
Until next time, keep finger blasting, and may the Force be with you.
Ta-ra.